The magical nanny. Children, do you know that sometimes things which seem to be coincidence are not in fact coincidence at all? People wonder, I just thought about my friend and now he or she is knocking at my door. Or people have a wish, a dream, and one day the dream comes true. And sometimes things can be so sad, and it seems like nothing is stronger than the sadness. But suddenly, without a finger being lifted, a great joy comes and blows the sadness away like smoke. Most people don't believe that there could be somebody behind all of these coincidences. That's why I'm going to tell you a story which is a little bit of a coincidence and a little bit of a miracle. Once there lived a girl, and her name was Mia. She had a mom, a dad, a cat, and many toys. Everything seemed fine, but there was one but. Mia's mom and dad worked a lot and had a great many worries. Mia could not understand any of these worries. Dad always rushed to work, but no matter how fast he hurried, he could never make it on time. That's why he stayed late to finish his job. But Mom also worked a lot and was late for everything too. She was late for the hairdresser, late to meet her friends, and even late to pick up Mia from school. In the evening, when the family were gathered at home, Mom and Dad were very tired. And the next day it was the same story. In the morning, Mom and Dad were in a rush, not getting anywhere on time, and in the evening, everyone was tired. Mia knew that only her house cat, Tabby, was never in a hurry and always waited at home for everyone. That's why Tabby was Mia's best friend. And Tabby knew that, so he slept in Mia's room. Nobody knew this, but when Mia had a bad dream, Tabby would cuddle and snuggle in her chest to calm her down with his soft purring. This is how the family's life went until Mia's 6th birthday, which was just before the school holidays. The festivities began early in the morning. Guests were invited, a cake was set on the table, balloons were blown up. Mia's friends gathered and the celebration began. Now, most children and parents are familiar with birthday parties, so I'm going to skip ahead to the moment when it was time to blow out the candles on the cake. Mom called to her daughter, "Hurry, Mia, the candles are lit. You have to make a wish and blow them out." "A wish? Why do I have to make a wish?" asked Mia. When you make a wish and blow out the candles, the wish will come true and your guests can eat the cake," explained Mom. "Really? The wish will come true? Sounds like a miracle," laughed Mia, and she looked at the guests, waiting impatiently for their slice of cake. But she did not want to rush, because wish-making was a serious affair. If you only get one wish in a year, you can't waste it. You need to think carefully. So Mia had a good think. Out of the blue, Tabby jumped up on the armchair, threw indifferent looks at each guest, and lay down. Mia giggled and said, "I want my cat to talk to me." There was a laughter in the room and all the guests looked at the cat. As if he suspected something, Tabby's hair stood up and he jumped down from the armchair and hid away. The celebration continued as these things do. After the last guest said goodbye, Mom and Dad tidied the rooms and went to bed. It had been a lovely, joyful day, but nobody understood that something special had also happened. After Mia went to bed, Tabby hopped up on the covers and was about to fall asleep when he said,
Yuck. That fish was horrible, and I shouldn't have eaten the spicy food.
"What's that?" Mia said, frightened. "Tabby, is that you talking?"
Are you surprised? Said the cat. You are the one who wished it, or have you already forgotten?
"It's a miracle," said Mia.
Some miracle. For some reason, we animals learn to understand people, but you can only understand us if we speak your language.
"There's no need to be angry," said Mia in a friendly voice. "I always knew you understood me."
I don't complain about your French, but about your parents, said Tabby, upset. They don't care about me at all. Day after day, I'm stuck in the house. If I was a dog, I would howl.
"You know," said Mia, "sometimes I also think I'm a burden to them. They never have time. They are always in a hurry, always late, and always tired."
I tried to tell you a long time ago, but you didn't understand, said Tabby. We need a nanny. She should be good, caring, and kind, because this kind of life we have now is not life. I know what I'm talking about.
"But what can I do?" said Mia. "I can't find a nanny by myself."
Maybe you can't, but I can, said Tabby.
"You? Don't be funny," smiled Mia.
I'm glad you find it funny, but let's go to sleep for now, said Tabby. The morning is cleverer than the evening.
Then Tabby stretched, yawned, snuggled, and fell asleep. Next morning, the doorbell rang everyone awake. Mom ran downstairs and opened the door. There stood a lovely woman in a long coat with a notebook in her hand and an umbrella in the other. "Good morning," she said. "I've come about your advert for the nanny's job during the holidays." "The nanny's job? Advert? But we haven't advertised any job," said Mom. "Indeed," said the woman, holding up the ad. "This is your address. It's all written in detail. Your daughter is 6 years old. Her name is Mia." As if looking for something, or perhaps just curious to find out what was happening, Dad came into the room. "Maybe I filled in a form at some point," he said. "That must have been a long time ago. This nanny's agency is slow to respond, I must say. On the other hand, maybe it's for the best. Having a nanny during the holidays would be a great help. Accept her, my dear, and if you are quick, we might have time to stop at the car wash on the way to work." "Perhaps he's right," Mom said, as if to herself. "A nanny would be useful." And she asked the nanny, "Which agency sent you?" "Fairy Nannies," replied the woman. "Sounds beautiful. Please let me see your paperwork." Then Mom went through the documents in a rush and said, "Everything's perfect. You even have references. Please come in and make yourself at home." After half an hour, Mom and Dad said their goodbyes, kissed Mia, and left. "Finally," said Nanny. She took off her shoes and coat, hung her umbrella on a hook, and dropped down on the sofa. Mia was a bit surprised. But that was nothing compared to what happened next. Tabby crawled slowly into the living room, snuggled up next to Nanny, and said calmly,
You sorted this out easily.
"Quite easily indeed," agreed Nanny.
This attire suits you, said Tabby.
"Suits or doesn't suit, I prefer to be in my own body," was Nanny's strange answer. "You are talking to each other," said Mia. "You know each other?"
It was me who invited her, purred Tabby. Introducing our new nanny, a fairy.
A fairy! Mia couldn't believe it. But fairies are as small as butterflies and have wings. What do you think? If I appeared as a fairy, would I have been able to become your nanny? Asked the woman. Probably not, said Mia. That's right. You'll just have to trust that I'm a fairy. On the other hand, I'm a nanny in the fairy world too, so for sure I'll be able to look after a human child.
Don't forget about me, said Tabby. I don't even remember the last time I was outdoors.
I just have one favor to ask you, Mia, said Nanny. Every day, draw me a picture of what we did together. That will be my reward for work. Mia agreed with pleasure. From that day, strange things began to happen in Mia's home. Nanny managed perfectly. She cooked delicious food and tidied the house so spotlessly that it shone. Of course, Nanny did all of this without lifting a finger, because she used the magic spells. When Mia's parents came home in the evening, they were met by mouth-watering aromas from the kitchen. Clean clothes were organized neatly by color and size in the wardrobes, every mother's dream. Every item was tidied in its place, and neither Mom nor Dad missed a thing. Mia was happy. Tabby was looked after. The nanny played with Mia and taught her many things, except magic, of course. Mia learned how to bake rolls, to sing, to ride a bicycle, to read, even to write a few words, all in the space of a week. Mom was suddenly in awe of Mia's talents which she had never paid attention to before, hardly surprising as she was almost never with her daughter. After a week, Mia's holidays were over. It was time for Nanny to say goodbye to the family. When Mia went to bed, Dad invited Nanny into the living room and said, "As we agreed, today is your last day, but we would like you to stay on with us. Unfortunately, I've promised to work with another family already, and it's a promise I can't break," said Nanny. "It was a real pleasure to stay with you all, and your daughter is just wonderful. Tomorrow I will go, but before saying goodbye, I want to give you this." And Nanny showed Mom and Dad a folder full of pages. These are Mia's drawings. All week she kept a diary. Look closely at each page and you'll understand that you have an exceptional daughter. But she, we could say, almost doesn't have her parents. Mom got a little angry at this. "We are truly satisfied with your work, but it's most discourteous of you to teach us how to live. For saying such a thing, we could lower your fee." "You are quite right. That's why I'm not going to teach you," said Nanny. "You will understand after seeing your daughter's diary. You won't need to lower the fee because I don't need it at all. So I shall say goodbye and wish you luck." And with this, Nanny put on her coat, unhooked her umbrella, waved from the doorway, and left. Mom and Dad stood without a word. They hadn't expected that. Suddenly, Mom remembered the contract which Nanny provided on her introduction. But instead of a legal document, she found only a stack of blank pages. And when she lifted them, they scattered glitter. "That's impossible. When she gave me these papers, it was a real contract with all the details of who she was and where she was from." Mom frantically leafed through the pages. "I even saw her references." It seems like none of this really happened," said Dad. "There was no nanny. Nobody got paid.
But all of the work was done. Curious, Dad took his daughter's diary, and both parents started to look through the drawings. In the first drawing, there was a view through the window into the yard, where Mom and Dad were walking towards the car. Mom joked that she had been drawn quite slim by Mia. In the next drawing, Mia and Nanny were happily baking a cake while Tabby sat on the cupboard. Mom was surprised that the nanny had allowed the cat to sit there. In the third drawing, Mom and Dad were watching TV with serious faces, and above the scene Mia had written, "Parents are tired." The next drawing made both parents laugh. There was Mia, Nanny, and Tabby in the park, and all three of them were licking ice cream. In the fifth picture, Mia was riding a merry-go-round while Nanny ran alongside. In the sixth, Nanny was reading a book while Tabby listened. In the seventh, Mia was dancing with Nanny, feeding pigeons in the park, and Nanny was teaching Mia to ride her bicycle. And there was a drawing of Mia, Nanny, and Tabby holding hands and paws, while in the distance, Mom and Dad walked away. The last picture was a big red heart with Mia, Nanny, and Tabby inside it, and above that Mia had written, "The most loved ones." Looking at the last pages, Mom and Dad stopped their commentary. It was obvious that they were either absent from the drawings or pictured far away from their daughter. At length, Mom said, "We probably spend too much time working. We are always together. But what about Mia? Are we really so tired, or do we just not want to be with her?" "We have time to watch TV," said Dad. "Nanny was right. We are the ones who behaved badly, not her." Next morning, Mom woke Mia and invited her for breakfast. Mom wasn't rushing anywhere. She was calmly making pancakes and spreading cherry jam on top. Dad was preparing sandwiches. At the front door was a ball and Tabby's travel box. "Don't you need to go to work today?" asked Mia. We do, but we decided not to," said Dad. "Today we are all going to the park. We'll cycle and play with the ball. We'll take Tabby with us too." Mia rubbed her eyes to make sure she wasn't dreaming. Then she turned to the cat and asked, "Tabby, will you want ice cream?"
Meow,
said Tabby, and Mia knew the magic was over. There was no fairy nanny, and Tabby had become an ordinary cat. But from that day, a new, beautiful life began in her family. Playing on the swings with Mia became more important than washing the car. Reading a story before bed became more important than watching the news. And strangely, once Mom and Dad stopped rushing, they got everywhere on time. And never again did anyone in the family want for attention, even the cat.